Thank you for your purchase of the LevPro safety system. Today's training module is going to cover the LevPro PLUS PC software. By this stage you should have already loaded your software onto your computer. Very simple process using the installation wizard. We're all familiar with that. So once that is completed, you will have a LevPro Systems monitor icon on your desktop. Double click on the icon and you will bring up the first page. There's not much on this page. We've kept the software extremely simple, and as you'll see, it's easy to operate. The first step will be to click on the view icon in the toolbar at the top and then click Discover Devices from the drop-down menu. This screen will immediately appear. At this stage it's important to also say that you should have your Bluetooth radio turned on if it's internal, or you should have your Bluetooth dongle with its software already installed in your computer before opening the LevPro PLUS software. This line will indicate that your radio is being detected by the computer and that it is in fact working. At this stage also you would have the LevPro repeater box or boxes that you're using to monitor your rig already plugged in, operating, and connected to your load cells. Clicking on the Discover icon on the top of the toolbar in this window will start the process of discovering those Bluetooth devices. For today's training, we're going to use a feature called Emulate, which is right next, to show you what it'll look like once the Discover process has happened. However many repeater boxes you have active within range of the radio will show up in this window. Each one will have its own individual name, which you are able to rename yourself to whatever makes sense for your rig. Once you've discovered these devices and they're listed in this window, opening up a monitoring window is as simple as clicking on this icon, which brings up a monitoring window. I'm going to expand this for a moment to show you some of the features, and then I'll show you what multiple windows look like on the screen. Features are very simple. Once you're connected to the Bluetooth repeater, you have the ability to stop or start the signal starting with the left-hand icon on the toolbar. It's a green arrow, and as you can see, that now causes the readings to appear in this block. This emulation feature is showing movement that you wouldn't normally see on your rig, just so you can see that something's actually happening. Clicking the stop sign icon directly next to it will stop at that moment where everything is located. On the screen you'll see a few things. You'll see a bar graph showing in a graphic setting going larger and smaller. You will see this bar showing your weight. Directly below you will see the first number shows the size shackle that you are using. That can be 5/8 or 3/4, and changing that is as simple as going to the toolbar under shackles, picking the port. In this case it's port number 4, and we choose 3/4 inch, and you'll see that immediately changes to 3/4 inch. This also changes the math formula that's used to calculate the weight from the signal from the load cell, so it's very important to have the proper size shackle loaded, and the default will always be the 5/8 inch shackle. So if you're using 3/4 inch, you'll need to change it. The next number down shows the live load, meaning the weight that is actually being sent from that point at this moment. Below it, and correlating to the red box, is the peak load, which would also correspond to this point. As you can see, peak loads are captured for a couple of reasons. One, so that you can see what's happening in a worst load scenario or heaviest load scenario on each point. This is especially important if your rig is being raised or you have dynamic elements that are moving. We also have the ability to save this in a report form, and all of the icons are available on the top toolbar. The first one allows you to print the screen exactly as you see it. The second one allows you to save a image of it. I believe it's a GIF image. And the third one allows you to save this spreadsheet or save this information to an Excel spreadsheet. It has a little Excel icon. The fourth icon, change chart appearance, is not one that you would be using. It has to do with colors and such. There's one other user set adjustment, which is limits. Very easy to set. Upper limit, which is currently at 500, and you can see is indicated by this red line, can be changed with a keystroke. Now I've set it at 1500, and you'll see that the line has moved up to 1500. What this will do is, if at any point the peak load on a point reaches that threshold, you will get an audible alarm, provided the volume is turned up on your computer. If you don't want to receive an audible alarm, turn down your volume or hit mute, and what will happen when it hits that point is the toolbar at the top will begin to flash. So you'll see a visual indication that you've reached that limit that you've set. This may not mean that you have a danger situation. That's up to you to decide and set the limits appropriately. We also have the ability to set the lower limit. Again, just as easy. I've got it set at 10 pounds now. I'm going to make that 110 pounds, and you can see that the green line comes up to the 110 pound level. This would be to indicate a motor point that stops running, a slack chain for any reason. Usually it would correspond, let's say point number 4 had a slack situation and dropped down below that point. You're probably going to see the points on either side of it, if that's how they're arrayed on your rig, go up into maybe into an overload situation and maybe not, depending, but it will tell you when you have a slack chain situation, and it'll tell you very quickly. When you're finished with those, just click on the screen and that will go away. And quite frankly, that's as easy as it is. Let me show you a couple other features, because it's oftentimes you're not going to be viewing just one graph at a time. Oh, before I leave here, let me show you also. You also have the ability to, this will indicate the friendly name that you have given to your repeater box. This will indicate city and state. That could be a project, could be a job, could be your default city and state, whatever you want. You don't have to enter anything here. Or, and you can also have the date, which, as you can see, will draw its date directly from your computer. So as long as your computer is set correctly, you'll always have that date stamp. Using the file icon at the top and then clicking on set venue, city and state, allows you to change this. The other two indicators, this will come from your computer and this will come from the repeater box that you're attached to, so you won't need to change those. Let's reduce this down. Okay, this is the way it opened up again, if you recall. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and I'm going to click on a couple of more points and open up, let's say, 4 windows. You can open a maximum of 7 windows at a time, which gives you the ability to read 56 points. If you want, once you're done opening up the repeater box monitoring windows that you're using, you can go up to this window on the toolbar. It says close, and eliminate that window, so you have less on your screen. Anytime you want to come back to it, all you have to do is click on View and Discover Devices, and it will bring it back up. Well, let's remove it for the moment. Now obviously, when the screens come up, it's not readable at this point. You can leave them like this, and that would be what we call the cascade function. And you basically are going to have to then, move things around on your own, or click on a new one to come forward, that sort of thing. What's more likely is that you're going to use our tile function. And in this case, with 4, tiling horizontally or vertically is going to give you the same result, which is to fill your screen with those 4 points. Now, if we were monitoring all 4 points, or all 4 repeater boxes, it's going to look something like this in actual function. Again, the emulator moves much quicker in terms of changes in weight than you're probably going to experience on your rig. If you do experience these kind of changes in weight, you've probably got something that needs corrected. We can also, under the graph icon, pull down a drop-down menu that starts or stops all of the open repeater box monitoring windows at one time. And as you can see, I clicked on the stop and everything stopped at once. This one, because it is now indicating a overload situation, is when it is running, you can see that it is flashing, and if I turn up the sound on my computer, I get the audible alarm. And this will vary, the sound will vary a little bit from a klaxon to the sound that you hear currently, depending on whether multiple points are exceeding your preset limits. In this case they are, because I've got them set at 500 pounds and every point is going above. If I change this to 1,000 pounds, I am now reaching a situation where only a few of them are going above, and you still get the alarm. The alarm doesn't differentiate which point, but it tells you that there's something going on, and then you take a quick look and you'll quickly see what's going on. When you're in monitoring phase, there you got to hear the klaxon sound. You can also minimize some of the toolbar commands that you don't necessarily need to be using by going to View and selecting Graphs Full Screen. This will just give you a little bit clearer image with a little less clutter, and this is for the situation where you've got everything set as you want it to go, and now you're just going to be monitoring the loads over a period of time, the duration of the show or whatever that might be in your case. At any point I can increase one of these graphs to be full screen, so if there's a particular truss that I want to monitor more critically than the others, and to be able to do it from a little distance maybe on a screen, I can use this feature. When we are ready to close a repeater, we simply choose the close or the X icon at the toolbar at the top right, and that particular repeater is now disconnected and its monitoring screen is removed. You don't have to go through that setup in order to exit the program. You can simply go up to the top right hand corner, click on the X, and you are now exited the program. Let's quickly go through, open the program, select View, Discover Devices, make sure your radio is indicated, click on the Discover icon, which gives this result. Click on the repeater that you want to view, and it will be displayed. Click on the green Start button, and you will be receiving information from your load cells at that point. That's as simple as it is. And that concludes the training module for the LevPro Safety Systems LevPro PLUS PC software. Thank you.